Hey, hello, good day. Welcome to my lightning talk, making maps that vote for itself. I would like to call it as how Mount Isarog became the QGIS 2.14 splash screen. My name is Francis Josef Gasgonia. I'm based here in Metro Manila, Philippines. I'm an environmental planner and cartographer. I also have a background in sociology and I dabble in archaeology. I like mountaineering, scuba diving, rock climbing, caving, and any other outdoor activities that I could get my hands on. When QGIS announced a few months ago that they'll be opening a public competition on the next splash screen with the theme 3.14 Pi, I immediately thought about how it's important in making circular buffers for volcanoes when identifying risk areas and check on the vulnerabilities of different structures and especially population areas. I chose Mount Isarog out of any other volcano here in the Philippines because of its historical weight to it. It was a guerrilla base during the Japanese occupation, as well as the birthplace of the New People's Army struggles at the time in the 1970s. To get the DAM, I use Open Topography. It's a good resource, guys, if you're looking for different types of DAMs, LiDAR data that are available globally. And then OpenStreetMap for other important design elements that you could use. Then after gathering all the data, I used long-term release QGIS 3.10 to extract the contours at 10-meter intervals. And I stylized the DEM into a single pseudo color band from white to gray and red to highlight the changes in the elevation of the volcano, which you can see right here in the middle. You see there's a lot of artifacts and I cleaned those up as well. Some I left out because the important thing about this map for me was centering on the volcano, but as well as appreciating the the landscape on the northeast and also on the southwest of the volcano. I stylized the contours into a Tanaka style contour. You can find a lot about on how to do this online. There are great tutorials. I just followed those as well. I use this design to highlight the different elevation differences and kind of look like a layered cake for me, and I liked it. I also use a terrain shader to encompass the different differences in the topography and highlight areas that may not be otherwise be seen when just using the normal hillshade profile. The next thing that I need to do in this design is what else to add. And it's always in the details, the minute details that you like to see. Again, when using the buffers, it's important what would it in case impact if the volcano becomes active, which is quite a long shot because based on the profile of this volcano, it's a proto-stratovolcano. But in case if it becomes active, we'll be able to see which buildings, population areas, road networks that might be affected in the map. Hence the buffers at 1 kilometer each. The ring buffer expanded to another kilometer. So we could potentially see who and where the impact will be. After I extracted this design, kind of like the design is got a little misty, ghosty style to it, and the hint of the red focuses on the slopes of the volcano, allows the eyes to center its attention toward that particular area. And I followed basic cartographic principles of omitting what you don't want the people to see, and then highlighting what elements that you want your audience or your map viewer, map user to see. Using Inkscape, also an open source software, I added the text features and other elemental guidelines that will be featured in the map. As any cartographer out there, they will always think that the map is unfinished. The map will always be unfinished, but we have a deadline, we submit it as it is. QGIS required it to be submitted as this when they're making their judgment decisions on what will be included in the final list. I was surprised that I was included in the top three, and this is what the draft of the splash screen will look like. That was opened up for public voting for different users. And these were the other two. So upon finding out, I only found out about it because when I was tagged to a post about the voting was already made open to the public, I shared it on social media. Where else could you do it from? There are many QGIS user groups. Then I shared it to different Filipino user groups here as well as overseas. And I was quite happy about the turnout that they were supportive of the design. And I opened it up to the public on whether or not they will support it as well. It, many people just shared and voted for it. And I was happy that in a few weeks, 40%, 46% was the final outcome. Many people voted for it, and I was quite happy for it. It's always encouraging that your cartographic work is appreciated by other map makers. So it's quite a giddy feeling when you open up the QGIS 3.14 and have your design right over there, which is quite okay. So again, thank you for joining my talk. I simply followed the basic design principles of omitting what you don't want the user to see and also highlighting what should be focused upon on your design. You could message me on Twitter or follow me on Twitter for any questions about cartography related things, and check out my WordPress website, boondocksandcities.com, if you want to read out on the different projects I have worked on. And now we're open for questions, I think. So again, thank you for listening. My name is Francis, and looking forward to what you guys have in mind.